Hey folks, this is Best in Slot with some quick late night news for this brand new Jurassic World film, which doesn't appear to be slowing down. It's like a bullet train. Reference, I shall say. Yeah, it keeps kicking off. It keeps picking up steam. You know, we're getting more and more news. We already know that Co-op is attached to Wright and that they've got a script that they really like and that they wanted the film to come out next year. That seemed immensely unlikely. Still seems unlikely, but thanks to this article from Collider, we do have a little bit more information about what they're planning, including the director in talks to helm the film. Let's check it out. So the director is David Leitch. Let's take a look at what he's directed. He co-directed John Wick. He was actually uncredited in that role in the film. I think Stalhensky got the credit for that, but he did co-direct John Wick, and then he branched out on his own with Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, the Fast and Furious spin-off Hobbs and Shaw, Bullet Train, and The Fall Guy, which is a new Ryan Gosling film due out this year, hasn't been released quite yet, as you can see. The red number you're seeing there is the critic score via Red Tomatoes. By and large, the audience score is actually a little bit higher for most of these, so, you know, it just depends on which is your preference. Bullet Train in particular, I actually really enjoyed, thought it was better than 54%. Well, there's a really interesting thing when you look at Leitch's filmography. These are all action films. Every single film on that list is a pretty intense action film. You know, if you had to pick a single genre for any of those films, you'd probably go for action. Deadpool 2 is really the only one that's playing around with something else. Now, that's not something you'd really attribute to Jurassic Park. I would suggest that Fallen Kingdom dabbles with it in the first half, and Dominion is definitely going more in that direction. Now personally, I would have preferred a director more specialising in adventure-type films or horror kind of films. You know, I think that would be a more interesting direction. And I think Leitch's filmography does tell us what kind of film we're going to get with this new Jurassic World film, I should say. However, the other thing is, these aren't big budget films either. Hobbs and Shaw probably was. Bullet Train, Atomic Blonde, Fall Guy, these are not big mega budget films. And they tend to have a pretty quick turnaround. You know, the production on Atomic Blonde, for example, was a handful of months, and they tend to do very, very well against their budget. It suggests to me that the new Jurassic World film is maybe going to be a little bit smaller in some ways. It could be a little bit more intimate, still an action film, but maybe focusing on less dinosaurs, less people, more of an intimate focus in that way. It's still going to be a bombastic action film, I'm pretty sure, which, you know, it's up to you whether you like that or not. But I feel that it might be a little bit less expansive, maybe a little bit lower budget than what we've had in the past. That's not the only news we got from Collider, though. They've also mentioned that the prospective slated release date for this new film is July the 2nd, 2025. That is crazy. That's 17 months away or so. That is no time at all to produce a film of this kind of scale. But if you've got a director, you've got a script, you get casting within the next few months, you finish production by the end of the year, that's not impossible. The VFX shots is the major thing in this, so I feel, again, that we might see something that pulls back a little bit on the VFX if they're planning to hit this sort of release date. Then you've got a few months of marketing. It's not impossible, you know, it seemed less likely in the past, and I'm looking at this, and I think it will get delayed. I would imagine this will get pushed back to later in the year. It's fighting already with some big films in July, but it's a summer blockbuster. If it gets delayed, does it get delayed all the way to 2026 summer, or do we get like a Christmas sort of release for the film instead? And finally, they've confirmed what we all expected. The original cast, both for the Jurassic World cast and indeed the Jurassic Park cast, is not expected to return. This is a new slate, essentially. I think it'll be a soft reboot. You know, it's not going to hark back to what's gone on before, but we are in a post-Dominion world where dinosaurs are all over the place. You can definitely see how that would translate into an action film. And that's about it. But, yeah, July 2nd, we've got a director, we've got a writer. It's picking up speed. You never know, folks. It's not impossible. It's really not. I'm very curious to see just how fast this moves now. You know, as soon as you've got a director attached, that's when you're going to get into casting. Really curious to see who gets cast. Really curious to see if we can wrangle out any plot details in the coming weeks and months. But yeah, that's the latest news on this new Jurassic World film. Check the playlist down below to keep an eye out on all this information. Follow the channel and all that kind of jazz for the latest news on this new Jurassic World film. And let me know what you think down below. I'll see you folks very soon. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.